We're going to jump into studs and duds before we close out the show, as we always do on our Friday episode. Studs and duds, obviously. Studs, people we think are going to overperform. Duds, players we think are going to disappoint you this week. Wes, I love your stud for this week. I want you to tell the people, because I'm just going to sit back and let you take it away.
Okay. Last time for studs and duds, I said Alexander Mattison was going to be my stud because it was now or never for him, and he produced. He did his job. He got 19 points for us. There's a situation where sometimes you got to look at the outside noise and figure out which players have a little fire under their seat and who need to perform now or never. My stud this week is Justin Fields. It is now or never for him, okay? You alluded to it actually last week, Noah, because I was already starting to brew that thought, thinking, man, this matchup against the Broncos might be really helpful for his confidence, the team's confidence, for fantasy football owners' confidence, and you dropped that little nugget for me last episode by saying, you know, Fields may have an opportunity against the Broncos. He sure does, okay? Because the Broncos organization looks like they are in a very similar spot to the Bears organization. Which stat do you prefer? The fact that the Dolphins put up 350 passing yards on them last week, or the fact that they put up 350 rushing yards last week on them? Because Justin Fields can do both, okay? I don't believe he's ever thrown 300 yards in a game, but this dude can run. In fact, speaking of the Dolphins, it was against the Dolphins that Justin Fields set the record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in a regular season game. He's got wheels. He's got DJ Moore. He's got really good tight ends with Cole Kmet and Robert Tonyan. Something has to win. It's either fluke or it's for real, and we find out on Sunday against the Broncos, who are totally embarrassed. It is now or never for him. And if he does not produce 20 points, that's my mark. Friggin' Justin Fields. Drop him.
I dropped him. There it is. Yeah, listen. Justin Fields has a perfect opportunity this week. You nailed it. It is now or never for this guy. I really thought Kansas City was going to be the bounce back. And then when you're down 40 and you're only throwing 22 passes in the game, I go, okay, well, you must have 100 rushing yards, right? No, I could not figure out why on earth this didn't get pieced together in Kansas City. If it doesn't happen this week, you're absolutely right. It's now or never. And if it doesn't happen this week, I mean, you could probably drop him. You can. You can probably drop the guy. It is not going to work out. It was my concern coming into the year that he wouldn't make the leap as a passer. Maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's mind games for him. I don't know what it is, but it's not working so far. It has to work this week. I'm believing with you and hoping with you, I'm sure as many people are, that this is the week that Justin Fields shows us what he did or what he can do. And we'll remember last year it took him 4 or 5 weeks to come on. So maybe it's just getting used to in-game action again, his new team, whatever it is. But it needs to happen for Justin Fields this week. So I hope you're right. Justin Fields, week 4 dud. Let's go. I love it.
Oh, I was done with my statement. I was ready for you to roll into
Excuse me.
your...
I know. I'm so sorry.
Are you okay?
I went to go talk. Sorry, guys. I went to go talk, and I started to choke and then burp all at the same time, and I wasn't sure what was happening. This is why you subscribe and watch us on YouTube, so that you can see the incredible moments like this. If you are just an audio listener, you missed out on that golden moment there. Sorry about that, guys.
I wasn't even looking. I was looking at the camera.
I was just like, all right, they're just done talking, and meanwhile, Noah's over here about to die. I'm good. Don't worry,
Just
guys.
on their
I'm good.
drive, like,
Yeah.
ooh,
They're like,
awkward silence.
okay. Yeah. I mean, oh no, call an ambulance. It's just,
The police. Okay, let's go
Okay.
with your stud.
Week 4 stud for me is a guy I'm really excited about. A guy I love. A guy I was super hyped up on coming into the season. It's Chris Olave. Chris Olave is my Week 4 stud, and let me tell you why. He's the wide receiver 12 on the season right now, and he has not scored a touchdown. He has not scored a touchdown, and he is the wide receiver 12. He has over 300 receiving yards through 3 weeks. He has double-digit targets in every single game so far this season. So you may be asking, okay, no touchdowns, good target share, over 300 yards. Why is he specifically your stud this week, Noah? Jabu Winston. That's why. Jameis Winston is going to be under center for the New Orleans Saints. You may be thinking, you mean 30 and 30 Jameis Winston? 30 interception Jameis Winston? That's right, 30 interception Jameis Winston. You know why? Because he's got balls. He takes the shots. He throws it deep. And guess what? Chris Olave is going to be on the receiving end there of those passes. Last thing, Chris Olave's target share with Jameis Winston last season, 31%. That is elite for fantasy football. Chris Olave scored his first touchdown this week. He is my Week 4 stud. I'm excited for a divisional game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We just saw A.J. Brown pop off. I think he's going to be that dude this week. Chris Olave, Week 4 stud.
I'm starting Winston in a league. BT dubs.
I love it. I am too, actually. I'm in a situation where I have Carr, and I was like, screw it. Like, Winston is it. Like, there you go. Like, let's do it. Yeah.
I think it's one of the 2 leagues I have Burrow, and in our Trollers League, I've got Kirk Cousins. So I'm all right with the QB1 on the season so far. But in the other league, I picked up Jameis Winston because something about the Bucs I feel is always going to be a revenge game for Winston, because as soon as they shipped him off to New Orleans, they won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. And you should hear, I mean, I remember he went on a podcast with Cameron Jordan, and he just, you could tell how hurt he was by that, and just the reflection from that. So for me, I always love a revenge game. I always love this opportunity. There's something else about Chris Olave that I still am going to continue to throw out this idea that Michael Thomas might be just as important as Chris Olave with Derek Carr. Because when I read what was going on, reading the summaries from the Saints camp, Olave and Winston were the ones that were connecting. Carr obviously connected with Chris Olave as well. As you just pointed out, it's got over 300 yards and is wide receiver 12 on the season. But Winston has connected with Olave, and I do believe that Olave is going to have some great success. And that transitions me into my dud, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
the segue here, because my dud for the week is going to be Alvin Kamara. It's first game back after the suspension. Don't get me wrong, he's been practicing. No health concerns. He just wasn't allowed to play in any of the games. But he was practicing with Derek Carr. The offense that he knew as an eligible practice player was with Derek Carr. And it was not with Winston. Everything from camp was Olave and Carr and Kamara. Now it is Winston. And that is a different offense. Just as you said, he's going to ball out. He's going to throw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions on Sunday alone, because that's what he's going to do. The last thing I want to point out, Kamara is at a point where he's at the age where it's just not as successful for running backs to continue to dominate. He has never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. He is a PPR machine. Sure, Winston can get him the ball, get him targets, but the Bucs defense is still doing really well. I know that DeAndre Swift just threw up 100. He just threw up. He put up 130 rushing yards against the Bucs. And Eagles offense is different than the Saints offense. That Bucs defense is still really good. You saw what they did against Madison. You saw what they did against the Bears. Say what you want about the Vikings, the winless Vikings and the winless Bears, but the Bucs are a good team.
Yeah.
You can wait on Kamara to start him to see how he does as well, because you drafted him so late anyway that you already have starting running backs. You may be in a spot where you have to, but I don't feel good about starting Kamara just yet. He's my dud for the week.
Yeah. I am in that pool of people who don't have a choice. I have to start Alvin Kamara this week. I just lost Mike Williams, my flex. So I have to. It was at the right time. Kamara's back, so I am in a situation where I have to start Alvin Kamara. I don't feel great. My things that I hold on to here are that, okay, DeAndre Swift just ran for like a ton of yards against. Okay, maybe that'll work in his favor. And I just hope he finds the end zone. My hope here with Alvin Kamara, and another thing that I hold on to, is that the Saints' running game has just been really bad. Like, really bad. It was for the first 3 games of the year. I think Alvin Kamara is the most talented of players who have taken snaps at the running back position for that room. So I'm hoping maybe he's like, maybe got a chip on his shoulder and he's like, yeah, you don't want to suspend me? Cool. My running game has sucked. I'm going to show you what you got when I come back. But I don't feel great, all in all. I don't feel great, and I'm just 10 points. Yeah, look, Jahmyr Gibbs it. Give me maybe 10 points, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I that's what I'm hoping for. He is my flex play, so we'll see what happens. But I agree that I'm not starting him confidently, Wes. So I don't see a great path for him on Sunday, but I am hoping that I'm wrong.
Flex option is where you can risk it if you are in a situation like yourself where you have to, where there is no better option for you in the flex option for whatever reason. But we'll see what happens. First game back, you never know what kind of anger he may have. But
yeah, let me ask you this actually, Wes, because let's make a real time decision for Noah's lineup.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara, you've just said, is your dud.
Uh-huh.
Would you start Alvin Kamara, who I think is a guaranteed 15-ish touches on Sunday, or Jordan Addison, who is still playing less snaps than KJ Osborne against Carolina? I know we love Addison, and truly, it's like I don't know. It's a decision I'm probably still making. I lean Kamara, but I'd love to be swayed to hear what you think.
Honestly, here's my pitch for Addison.
Yeah.
Okay. Panthers don't have J.C. Horn. They don't have Brian Burns. That makes up their defense. They're going against Bryce Young, who Kirk Cousins is going to walk in and is going to say, look, there's no way I'm going to put up 300 yards and lose again. I'm going to dominate. It's a chance for Addison to have an opportunity to succeed. They're the most pass-heavy offense in the NFL. I still believe in all of the Vikings players for fantasy. We have not seen Alvin Kamara this year.
Yeah.
And it is with a different quarterback under center than what we have seen the Saints perform as this year. So that's my reason. Between those two, I'd say Addison.
That is true. And I mean, we think about, you know what? Here we go. I'm making the switch.
He's making the switch
real time right now. And I think back on it and I go, okay, we could say down week for Addison last week. It just wasn't as good as his first 2 weeks, but he still had 8 targets, his most targets he had seen all season, 6 catches, his most catches he had seen all season, 52 yards, the least amount of yards he had seen all season. All in all, still an 11.2 point week. He was just missing the deep ball touchdown. That was it. If he gets the deep ball touchdown, we're looking at this completely differently. So, I mean, you make a good point.
You know what I think it is, too? It's when the game is on the line and they're playing a tough team, Kirk is going to force feed Justin Jefferson. That is the way it has been since last year, since really 2 years ago. So that's also the game script and what happens with the Vikings is that when they need to go, it's Justin Jefferson. Week 1, they were down by a lot. So it was like, frick it. Go deep, Addison. See what happens. Yeah. And there's still so much of Addison that is great and the upside is there. That's my pitch. We'll see what happens. Real-time decision.
Yeah.
That was fun. I like that. I hope it pays off. We'll reconnect on our Tuesday episode and see how that panned out between the two.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah. We'll jump in here to close it out. My dud for week 4. Another running back in this game just on the other side of the ball. It is Rachaad White. Now, Rachaad White has had a fantastic role in this offense. He is the guy. We all thought, are they going to add somebody to the backfield? Are they going to bring in maybe Zeke? What are they going to do? Rachaad White's the dude. He is the guy. One really big game he has in week 2, and then he had 2 dud weeks, week 1 and week 3, less than 8 points in both of those games. It's a tough matchup against New Orleans. New Orleans has a very good run defense. Cameron Jordan, as old as he may be, he is still very good and is an anchor for that defensive line. It's a tough matchup. I think he's going to need a touchdown to be worth the start. I just think you need to temper expectations because while he is still the guy in that backfield, Baker doesn't like to literally check down a whole lot. I think they're going to be behind. I think they're going to be throwing the ball in this game. I've got Rachaad White having a subpar week this week, and so he is my dud for week 4 for that reason.
I did get a little... I kind of bought into the mirage for a moment in week 2 and how he succeeded and was like, oh, right, he was really good when Leonard Fournette was out last year. Maybe you should have got a couple shares on Rachaad White, but you make the case that, and really we should remind all the trollers the reason that we felt that Rachaad White would have benefited probably more if Kyle Trask was named the starter, because we suspected that Baker Mayfield would want to do it all himself. And Mike Evans has been turning out really great so far. Chris Godwin is not doing very much, and it doesn't seem like anyone else in the offense is doing very much. I think Baker is still trying to show that he is rejected and he's proving people wrong. And, well, that's what happened with the Panthers last year when Y. McCaffrey was such a disappointment in the first couple weeks up until we watched him with our own eyes at SoFi, and then it was traded to San Francisco. So, yeah, Rachaad White, as much as I like him, as much as I believe in him, situation with Baker Mayfield under center, tough defense. Yeah, good reminder. Thank you for bringing us back to reality on the expectations for Rachaad White.
Yeah, just because you're a 3-down guy does not mean you are always going to be a no-brainer start. He's just somebody that I would have on my bench this week in a tough matchup. So that is going to be it.